everybody, my next guest is a veteran of stand-up comedy and an accomplished actor. He can be seen in several television and movie productions as well as performing on the Royal Caribbean cruise ships. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Greg Vaccariello. Greg, what's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing, Don?
Dude, it's awesome to see you, man. I remember, I don't even know if you remember me, but back in the day, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, I was a young comic trying to be a comedian, working at a McGuire's open mics, and you would come in every now and then to kind of headline them and, give the audience something to really enjoy. And
I do remember those days. Yeah.
yeah, dude, it was always, I always loved when you were there because you could, it's like, oh, that's how you do it.
I tell you what, Don, I miss those days. I know that everybody says that, but it's really true. It's like there was a great community, and I know there still is on Long Island. I don't live there anymore, but there was that great community of comedians who I learned from. Hopefully, people learned from me, and just that feeling of camaraderie. That we're kind of in this together and punching up jokes for each other, making suggestions. The veterans that I started with when I was starting out were like Joey Cola and Dan Wilson and Joan St. Ange and Frankie Pace and Jim Myers. I mean, how do you not learn from that?
That's a pretty good bunch. Yeah.
Like when you watch and you go, oh, wow, that's what you do. You actually construct an act, and it's not just a bunch of babble. And they were so giving. Like every one of the working comics that were working when I started out were very giving of their time, their expertise, their experience. And it really made you feel like you were a part of this community.
Yeah.
And it was great.
I feel like your kind of generation of comedy, when you came up with like Joey Cola and all those guys, Paul Bond and all of them, I feel like that was kind of the beginning of the scene like that we have now. Like, yeah. I think the scene is already kind of starting out, with like Jackie the Joke Man and stuff like that. But I think once you guys, like you guys kind of took the ball and ran with it and kind of really created a Long Island like scene. You gave it credibility.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin James, Gary Valentine, Rock Rubin. I mean, these were dudes that were coming up when I was coming up, and I mean, they lit it up, man. They lit it up. But if not for that mentorship, either directly or indirectly from those established, working, funny, talented comedians, I don't know where we would have gone. It really means a lot when I think back.
I think, yeah, for sure. I think it's important for the seasoned up guys to kind of give back and pass their knowledge down to the newer dudes coming up, and I just think that's a good cycle to do. And like I said, when I was young, I was going up there doing whatever I was doing, and then I would see you, and I was like, oh man, I want to be like that good up there, that comfortable up there. Yeah, so like it always resonated. Yeah.
30 sports fans in the crowd. Good, me too. I love sports. Why don't they show highlights of like a basketball game? One of the highlights is always the coach yelling at the ref over a bad call. It's a highlight. But they show the coach yelling at the ref in slow motion like it's a play, right? Then ref makes the call. You see the coach screaming in slow-mo. He's like...
It's an interesting thing, though, Don. I still feel like I'm learning, and I always want to have that feeling. I want to feel like there's something I don't know yet, and not just material-wise, but just performance-wise. I really feel like, as I've gone along in this business, that the performance, and whatever that is for you, it's different for everybody, but the performance is key. Some people are low energy. That's their performance. Some of them are high energy. That's their performance. Some of them are in between. Some do whatever it is, but it's important to remember that there's an audience out there, and I want to give them me
Right.
because I'm the only person who can do that.
Right.
I can't, nobody can give them me. I can't give them somebody else, but I want to know when I'm out there that it is me.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain that to people who've never done stand up, but you can look at sometimes you can look at a joke written down and go, "Oh, I know whose joke that is." That is definitely so and so. You can just tell. But like when you look at some of these comedians who are working, they all have a different. These really successful comedians. There's a different way about them on stage. Bill Burr, Sebastian Maniscalco, you name them. These comics that are just rocking right now, but they're different because they're giving the audience them. Bill Burr ain't pulling any punches out there. That's him.
Right.
Sebastian Maniscalco, that's him. Brian Regan, that's him. And it's good when you can find that early on and then just be comfortable. They call it finding your voice.
Yeah.
It's also how you attempt jokes and write jokes. But give them that performance. I always want to go out there on that stage. If nothing else, that audience knows I know what I'm doing, man. I'm a professional stand-up comic, and I know what I'm doing. I'm not just telling you jokes, which is
Right.
fine.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not just ripping out jokes that somebody else. This is me. Like I want them to know me when I'm done. Something about me,
Right.
and make it funny. I was always brought up in the business being told by those veteran comics, man, write about yourself, write about yourself, write about yourself, and um, I think that's okay. Also, if like you have a comic, let's say it was observational, something from the news.
Right.
Well, that they can still write about themselves because it's their opinion of that, right? So,
Right.
but I always like comedians who I know something about them and how they think when they're done.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You can learn from someone even if they're not telling you or pouring their heart out. You can learn something by just the jokes that they're telling, how they're saying it. And like you said too, if they are observational, you're seeing the world through their eyes. So you are
Exactly right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
So that's
that
the way I like to approach it. I like to approach it. I remember thinking years ago, man, if I bounce around the stage a lot, I'll have their attention. Now I got 10 minutes. I'm tired. I can't bounce around. So I said, just, relax and just, take a deep breath. Just be who you are. I don't bounce around in real life. So why am I bouncing around on stage? Um, sometimes I'll be doing a show on one of the chips and I go, okay, you got your bottle of water, stool. Here's your towel. I'm like, towel? You think I'm going to sweat when I'm out there? You think I'm sweating on it? I'm not building up a sweat out there. I'm working, but I'm not sweating. You can keep the towel, I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
it's true too, because a lot of times with newer comedians, they want to emulate other comedians that they see, or
Sure.
they think they need to be a certain character, like you said, like jumping around, bouncing around, moving fast, all that kind of stuff. And it's like in your case, how long did it take for you to realize, you know what, I don't need to do that anymore. I'm just going to be myself. Like when did that part of it sink in?
It's hard to say. I think it just comes with the more shows you do and you just get comfortable with yourself on stage, um, and what you look like and all that stuff. And it took years. I mean, it takes years, because when you're starting out, you go, okay, you got 3 minutes. You want to get everything out in 3 minutes. Well,
Right, right.
you can't, so just keep going till you're done, till the 3 minutes is up. And um, it took me a long time, and I still, every single time before I walk on stage, I focus and think, this is fun, relax. I just relax. And I want to walk. Comics that I love watching are the comics, and I don't know how I can put this properly, who appear to not to care. They
Right.
appear to not to care.
Right. Right.
And by that, I mean, of course they care. They want to get laughs. They want to do well. Everybody, you're a comedian. That's kind of your job. But by that, I mean, they're just cool, man. Whatever their style is out there, it's cool. Like they know they're funny. They know this is going to work. If you ain't laughing, it's on you. And they just have this way. The guy told me something years ago. I forget his name. I was working with him in Vegas, and he said it was a compliment. And I don't want to talk about myself, but he said when you're on stage, you give the impression that the audience is lucky to be there. He goes, when I am on stage, I give the impression that I'm lucky to be there.
Right.
He goes, does that make sense, Don? Like you want that, like when I watch a guy like Burr or Maniscalco or Regan, or you just kind of get the feeling, man, I'm in for a treat tonight as an audience member.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You
Exactly.
want to
Like
have
like
gratitude and all that, but man, if you're good at what you do, that audience is lucky to be there. They made the right decision that night. You know,
that, and that's a
that
great
makes sense.
mindset to have going on stage too, because you need that confidence, and
Yeah,
you need to know, like, um, I'm gonna I'm gonna kill this crowd tonight.
yeah, yeah. I'm going to kill them, and if anything comes up, I'll handle it. I'll handle it.
I remember too, coming up, there was so many, you look at, different comics, and there's so many comedians trying to emulate Dave Attell
Right.
or the Seinfelds of the world, or Eddie Murphy, especially in those days. Um, Guys get trapped in other people's vibes and their cadence and all of that. And do you think that makes it harder for them to find their voice, or is it part of the process?
I think it might be a little part of the process, and I think, um, and it will make it harder for them. I've done gigs where I did it years ago. I remember I was on a 3 week run, and the opening act was the same guy for 3 weeks. By the middle of the second week, he was basically doing an impression of me on stage.
The
Okay,
osmosis. Yeah.
dude, you're not from New York. You're not. You don't do this and that. I mean,
Right.
I told him, I go, dude, you're doing me. He goes, what do you mean? I go, the first night I saw you, you were more you, I think. And you're not getting any more laughs, but now you're up there, you're moving, hey, hey, let's get pizza. What are you talking about? That's not you. It comes across as being phony. And then I got to follow me. Like, stop. Like, either you're not happy with what you're doing in the beginning of the run here, but you can't do me. He goes, am I really doing? I go, yeah, I'll videotape you the next show and you'll see you're doing me. Stop. First of all, stop. It's me. But
Right.
secondly, it wasn't the material, it was the presentation.
Your essence. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So exactly. So I said, you got to stop that. You got to find who you are. Oh man, I don't know how to do that. I go, well, I'm talking to you now. This is you, right? So just do this up there. Just be real. And it's hard. It's hard. It's like with acting. You know, you talk to someone and then your action, suddenly they're stiff. Well,
Right. Right.
try, unless that's the character.
Right.
Unless the character is stiff and uptight, okay, that's fine. But you got to just be you as much as you. But excuse me, I was awkward. I just hiccuped. You got to be you as much as you can, and the more you get on stage, and have somebody tell you, man, don't do that. That's a bad habit. Like you don't want the habit to become the way to become who you really are.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's why I tell people all the time, man, when you're starting out, don't just audio tape, but videotape yourself as much as you can and watch it. And if there's anything in your performance you don't like, probably the audience didn't like it either. You have a habit that you do,
Right.
something you
Right.
say. Yeah. So anyway, whatever. And you don't realize you're doing it that much, but then you hear it and you're doing it 3 times a minute. But, oh, okay. I got to stop that. I
Yeah.
mean, it is a job. It is work. But getting on stage, videotaping, audio taping, it's key. So you can see yourself. So you can see. I was audio taping myself a lot recently, and I noticed I kind of developed this habit of just going, I don't know where it came from. Never noticed it before, but there it was. And I went, that's annoying because now I'm hearing it as the audience heard it. And I went, do
Right.
they find that annoying or do they think that's part of my thing? But it's not part of my thing. I'm not being frustrated or anything like that. So I had to focus on that and get rid of that habit. But it's
Yeah.
such a good thing to do. Sometimes just watch yourself, turn the sound off and watch. And then the next time you do it, turn the sound up and don't watch.
Right.
Just listen to it.
Yeah. Or
You,
just
you
turn the
know, and
sound off
see
and just
what.
watch your body language. Yeah, like you said.
Yeah, yeah. You always want to go out there. I mean, I know some comics have a certain diminutive kind of um, their persona is very kind of what am I trying to say? Not laid back, but almost bashful and shy. But that's the way they're writing their jokes, and it works.
Right,
The
right.
person really isn't afraid. They know that they're funny. But that old saying, never let them see you sweat. When you hit that stage, man, you gotta own it.
Yeah.
You gotta own it. And it doesn't mean you have to run around like crazy. Because I've seen comics walk out on stage sometimes, never move from that mic, and they own that freaking stage, man.
Yep. Like you said, it's all about the vibe and the performance,
Yeah,
And to your
yeah,
point too about always learning, when you're watching yourself and you notice you're doing a sigh or doing you're always learning, always improving yourself. And
yeah,
and I think that's great advice, just that alone to future comics or comedians that are working their craft, is to know that you could always learn. You could always, self reflect, watch yourself, like to your advice, and
yeah.
see where you could improvement could lay, you know?
Yeah, and the thing that, like I told you earlier, I always remind myself, this is fun.
Exactly.
This is fun. Like I'm about to go out there and have fun. And it's something that I try to remind myself of every time I go on stage because it is fun. Yeah, it's work, you're getting paid, but that's fun too. Getting paid for it is fun. But it's got to be a good time. You got to have fun. It doesn't mean you're a party comic. Who's drinking? I'm not saying that. But
Right,
going out
right.
there, working on your act, working on jokes, executing them on stage, learning from that, it's fun. It's fun. And I remind myself of that just every time I go out now. I try to say, this is fun. You relax. It's fun. You know,
Exactly. Yeah, because once it stops being fun and starts feeling like work, then it loses something, like I think even on stage it loses something. If you're not having fun, how do you expect the audience to have fun?
right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you could, whatever you do, comedian, singer, whatever it is, there are jokes that I've done for years. And I'm not saying I do them every show, but I still do them because that audience has never seen them. They're still timely, it'll work. But I have to approach that joke like it's the first time I'm telling it
Right. Yeah.
because I want, I can't sit there and go, done this 1,000 times, man. Well,
Exactly. Yeah.
what are we doing?
You had that joke back in the day. I don't know if you still might do it or not, but I forget what the punchline was, but you had a bumper sticker that you would sell after the
Oh,
show.
yeah, yeah. You bitch bastard. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you bitch bastard. Yes. That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. I think I might
I,
have one of those somewhere.
yeah, I used to talk about how my dad used to curse at me all the time. Yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't done that joke in a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I got to bring that back. Okay, Don. I'm going to
Th-
see if I can bring that
There
back.
you go. That's a
My
great
father
joke.
would say, yeah, I don't give a good goddamn, you bitch bastard.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm 5 years old and he's talking. It was crazy. It was crazy. That bumper sticker, I one time saw one on the LIE on the back of a car. And then somebody told me they got pulled over for having it.
Really?
Yeah, I forget who told me that. They had on a car, they got pulled over, or they had to peel it off, or they were told to peel it off or something. I
Wow.
don't have those anymore because, bumper stickers, I travel so much and they take up space in a suitcase and they're heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
And now it's 50 pounds. Oh my God. So they're heavy and they take up space. Um, I used to do a joke. I do a joke where I'll give away the punchline is tickle my balls. That's the punchline. And I would sell shot glasses that would say tickle my balls.
That's awesome.
$5. It wasn't like it was a huge money maker or anything like that. It's $5. And I would sell a bunch of those. But now again, shot glasses. You put 20 of those in a suitcase.
Yeah.
That's weight.
Yeah. And they're
And
fragile.
space.
Yeah.
I gotta get the thumb drive thing. A lot of comics do that. And it's a little thumb drive. You can see my whole show. Great. I might have to look into that.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's a cool thing. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And like you said, you started on Long Island with such a great group of people. Now you were in Joan St. Aug's improv.
Yes.
So you started there with Kevin James and Gary Valentine. Was Adam Farrar in that group too?
No, I think Adam had already left that. Rock Rubin was in it.
Doc Rubin, yeah.
Paul Bond. We had it was a good group, and I learned a lot about getting on stage, performing. That of course with improv, it's a little teamwork.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah.
There's at least two people on stage. So that was a great experience. That was fun, man. That was fun. And Joan was a great teacher and all that and funny,
To be part of that, and to reflect on it, did you see the star power in somebody like Kevin James, or were you guys just all kind of like equal at the time, or
Yeah, no doubt about it. Some people have that quality that's unteachable. You can coach it maybe and get them to utilize. It's like an athlete, you can coach it, but you can't give it to them. You have it or you don't.
Fun time getting sneakers, isn't it? It's a feeling you never lose. Shopping with Mom. Oh, I'm 26 years old. I'm still in the store like, oh, these are mint, Mom. Oh, yeah, these are the best. And she makes you do that little schmuck runway walk to see if you like them. Yeah.
Gary was always a monster on stage.
Directions from a guy with a glass eye, and I'm sitting there going, do I look at the big one or the small one?
Rock Rubin I never saw Rock Rubin not kill.
It goes. Trust me, it goes, all right? It goes. Just glue it, all right?
Rock, he's a tremendous writer and all that.
Yeah.
So, those people, you could see something. And, but behind all that, Don, was the work that went into it.
Right. Yeah.
We used to have writing meetings. You'd sit and write, bring an idea, work on each other's acts, critique each other's acts. It's work. And Adam was a part of that too. Adam's great. I mean, Adam was a little ahead of us. He was working as we were starting. And I've never seen Adam Ferrara not kill.
It's kind of scary. You come home, Mommy, how you feeling? Not bad today. The beard's coming in nice. Look at the cans on your sister, huh?
Yeah. I've never seen it. He always murders. He just murders. It's almost unfair. It's just you watch and you go, oh, come on, really? Seriously?
Yeah.
All
even to this day.
Great.
I just seen Adam Farrar not too long ago at Governor's, and he killed.
What's your job, sir? What do you do? Financial advisor. Financial advisor. Yeah, my uncle does that too. You're late.
Yeah, I mean,
he murders. I was at Governor's number of years ago. I was headlining the room, and then Adam came in. He was doing something, and he came in the Governor's, and he's such a good person. And he said, "Hey man, do you mind if I do a few minutes?" And I said, "Well, how much time?" Yeah, of course, do whatever you want. I said, "How much time you want to do?" He goes, just like 10. I go, "Adam, come on. It's a packed house. You're Adam Ferrara. They know you. They love you. 10 minutes is not going to cut it with those people." They're going to go, they're going to, come on. He said, well, all right, maybe 15. I said, look, let's do this. Let's just be honest. When they see you and you're done, they don't want to see anybody else. They just saw Adam Ferrara. They don't want to see anybody else. I'll go out. I got to earn my money. I said, I'll go out. I'm supposed to do 45 minutes. I'll do like 15, 20, and I'll bring you on.
Wow. Yeah.
And you just do the rest of the show. Because he was working us. He doesn't want to go out. Adam doesn't do 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
He's not even warmed up yet, 10 minutes. And he's like, oh, my God. He hugged me. And I said, absolutely. I said, I'm going to go between 15 and 20 max. I'll do at least 15. I feel like I got to earn my money. And then but by 20 minutes, I'm bringing you on. And it was great. When I brought him out, the crowd went nuts. And this one, he had some time to work in some new stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had a little bit of time, and and he just killed, man. And then a few years after that, when I was living in Vegas, he called me. He had some gig at one of the hotels, and he's like, "Do you want to open up for me, man? I would love to have you open up for me." I said, "Absolutely." And the place was, of course, mobbed.
Right, yeah.
Because he did the car show, and of course, rescue. I mean, everybody knows Adam. And so he had fans just out the door. It was a theater setting, packed. And I opened up for Adam, and they were like, "Okay, great. Where's Adam?" You know what I mean? So I did whatever I did, 20 minutes, and I brought Adam out. And he's just such a class act. All those guys are. He's thanking me for opening up for him. Like, Adam, thank you for having me to do this. But, he's just a class act, and all those guys are. And that's one thing I can say about that Long Island group. And I think that's just who they are naturally. But we also learned that from guys like Joey Cola, Joan, and all these comics, Dan Wilson. There isn't a bum in the bunch, man. They're all good people. They're all really good people.
They're all great people, man. I love Joey Cola and Peter Bales and all those guys.
Peter Bales Peter Bales is one of the best, nicest people I've ever met in my life.
We're going to move the show right along. You ready, Peter? Comes a friend of mine you all know and love here in this crowd. Yes, you do. Works all over the country, originally from Long Island, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Bales.
All right. My turn. I'm going to be funny. I promise you I will be funny. A lot of you are worried. You're thinking, how can this guy be funny? He looks just like Father Mulcahy.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a class act.
Class act, 100%. I remember one time, years and years, I was just doing open mics, Don, and Joey used to host Tuesday night at Governor's. And back in those days, we'd get crowds for open mic nights.
Yeah.
Anyway, one night there was like 8 people. It was weird. Nobody showed up. So Joey gathers us around. He goes, look, you all came here tonight. You all put aside a few hours. We can either all go home, or I can answer your questions for you. Any questions that you have. Well, we sat there and talked to Joey for like an hour and a half. Well, my point is, he could have said,
man.
well, I'm going to go home, right? All right, we'll be back next week, guys. No, he gave us his time.
That's
and
priceless.
I'll never forget that.
A famous 2 words from an event that happened in life.
You're giving the boy wine? God forbid. Where's he playing? Outside in the cold. No jacket? God forbid.
The only 2 things this lady didn't say God forbid about was church and prunes. That's it.
Everything else, God forbid. After a while, she'd yell, the veins would pop out of her neck. What are you cooking? God forbid.
She looked like E.T. after an hour.
God forbid. God forbid. God forbid. God forbid.
And Bales, anytime I would call Peter Bales, I go, Peter, I thought of something new I want to work on. Can I get on your show tonight? He would say, absolutely, because you're working on something. Like, he always encouraged me to write, and I don't know if he would remember that, but he did. And I always remember that. I always take that, like, Peter Bales was always the guy going, new stuff. You got new stuff, you can come on the show tonight. Don't do the same old 5 minutes. I want to see something new in there. And so you realize, okay, well, Bales knows what he's talking about. He's probably got 2 hours of material that he could do in his sleep. He's a prolific writer. So
yeah,
it's guys like Bales and Cola and Will, all these, really, Joan, and these comics who were working, who gave of themselves to you to get you better.
And that's just, it says a lot about them, says a lot about the scene, a lot about Long Island, and a lot about the camaraderie amongst comedians. And I think it still does exist even with today's comedians. And I think it's because you still have guys like Joey and Peter Bales that are still here active on the scene, and they're still mentoring and passing down their knowledge. I mean, we
Yeah.
just did a short film, and Joey did it and did it pro bono for us. And it's, we're like, we got Joey Cola in our movie.
Listen, man, I have to have other clients. I can't just have you. Austin's my client now.
And he's on TikTok. He's on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Do you know he's a TikToker? He ticks, he talks. You don't talk, you don't tick. He don't do any of that TikTok stuff. He's a master of the tick and the talk.
TikTok? What are you talking about TikTok? I don't even know TikTok. What are you talking about, George? I'm not a TikToker. I don't know how to do any of those TikToky dance bullshits.
You gotta see him jump off things. He jumped off a rock 100 feet in the air. You know where he landed? In the middle of the lake.
So just super
Joey's
cool,
the king, man.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Shout out to Joey. Shout out to Peter Bales, Joan, all of them. They're all great people, and I think it's important to remember what their contributions to the comedy scene, because a lot of times too, I think the younger comedians just look at them as the equals, but no, these people, they're next level.
Next level, man. In every way. They're next level.
Yes, indeed.
I admire and I appreciate all of them.
At Governor's Comedy Cabaret and Restaurant, we'd like to drop a few names. Jerry Seinfeld, Tim Allen, Jay Leno, Dice Clay, Bob Nelson, Rita Rudner, Judy Tenuta, and Dom Herrera. They've all headlined at Governor's every evening from Tuesday through Sunday. Governor's brings you comedy's rising stars of the future. So come to Governor's for the best time you and your friends will ever have with your clothes on.
And now, when did you move out of Long Island and to Vegas?
Well, I moved to LA.
For acting, I guess, to
Yes, I wanted to
pursue
pursue more acting. And I was there for about 4 years. I got more auditions in LA when I was visiting from New York than when I moved to LA.
Yeah.
I would go to LA for 2 weeks and get 4 or 5 legit auditions. Legit.
Right, yeah.
Auditions. I would get spots at the Improv, everywhere. I move out there, nothing. I mean, it was weird. Nothing. I think I had one time I went out there and I had 2 callbacks. I didn't get the parts, but 2 callbacks from, I forget the productions now, but major television shows. I got one. I was on a show called Hope and Faith. I got when I was out there. I did a couple things.
En route, but the guy that found us a doctor knows a thing or two. Don't worry about a freaking thing, bro. I've seen this type of thing a million times.
What? No. Her pager went off. It was clipped to her purse.
But as soon as I move out there, it's
That's weird how that happened.
it was so weird. It was so weird, Don. And but I always had great times when I went out to LA. I shot the King of Queens one time.
Sweetheart, still waiting on that pie.
Coming.
Anyway, but LA just didn't quite pan out for me. And I had met my future now ex-wife.
Right.
That's a whole, that's a maniac, by the way. And she was living in Vegas. And I was working Vegas a ton. Like I was in Vegas probably 3 to 4 months a year. Drive over from LA, do a couple weeks, go back. Drive over. And I thought to myself, what the hell am I doing living in LA? It just wasn't, I can get there easy enough from Vegas.
Right. If you did have something popping, you can just drive over.
I mean, I went back and actually did a couple things. I did a couple Tonight shows and whatever.
Non solo mio personale con il presidente Bush.
He says, come see him in Italy sometime. The women. Oh!
It's an easy drive or it's a short flight. either way, Vegas is not far from LA.
Right. Yeah. It's like
But
Jersey, New York, New
yeah,
Jersey.
you're
Yeah.
right there. You're right there. So then I moved to Vegas, and I've been here since. So married, divorced.
Has anybody here ever been with a psycho? By the way, if you're with that person right now, do not raise your hand because remember, they're a psycho. Just wink and nod, we'll get you out of here. Are you right? They're not here, right? Psycho.
And what's like the comedy scene like? Because I always, whenever I think of Vegas, I've only been to Vegas once in my life. I want to go again more often, but I always think of the big glamour and glitz and the big shows and all of that stuff. But I know there is a comedy, like a scene. Is it like a comedy circuit and a scene there? What's that like? And how is that evolving?
I got to be honest, Don. I don't know a whole lot about the scene because I'm gone so much.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I'm home, like I told you in the email a few weeks ago, this stretch that I'm home is like 12 days. That's the longest I've been home in 3 years.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm home for 2 days, maybe 4 days, and I'm gone. And you're gone for 3 weeks and home for 2 days. When you're gone that long and home for that short a period of time and leaving again, I don't go on. I can't. I don't want to leave home. I want to sleep in my bed, and I don't want. There's a couple. There's a lot of clubs here. Don Barnhart books a lot of the local talent, although there's a lot of local talent. But the other clubs book a lot out of LA, like Jimmy Kimmel and the Comedy Cellar and Brad Garrett. And
Oh, that's right. There's a Comedy Cellar there now too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been there. It's been here for a few years. And they'll ask me for avails, and I'll go, those are week-long clubs. And I'm like, I'm not home for a week.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I go, I'd love to go work one of those clubs. I'm not even home for a week. So it's as far as the scene goes, I don't know if I know Don likes to cultivate a lot of the local stuff, which I think is really good. But I don't have my finger on the pulse of the Vegas comedy scene.
Right. Yeah.
It's weird just because I'm not here that much.
Right. Because basically a lot of the time when you're not at home, you're doing the ships, cruise lines, the Royal Caribbean, Brilliance of the Sea.
All right, listen up. I'm backstage on the Brilliance of the Seas. Be out there in a few minutes. Getting ready for the late night adult comedy show. Packed. Gonna be cool.
I always hear kind of from other comics that work the cruise lines. There's like a mixed review. Some people absolutely love it. Other guys say that it can get lonely out there, or that you're with the people, the same crowd, for all the different shows, and it gets it could be a little weird. What's your take on it, being such a veteran of it, and like being doing it a lot, like for Jermaine's gig?
I love it, but like anything, it's going to have its drawbacks. I'm away from home a lot.
Right.
Okay. But as far as the shows go, they could be like anywhere else. You can have a great crowd and you can have a lousy crowd, whatever. But, it's different. You have to learn how to adjust. There are family-friendly shows that we do, which means there are kids in the audience, and you better be careful.
Right, yeah.
And then there's late-night adult shows where it's let it loose. It doesn't matter. They tell people, if you're easily offended, leave now, because we take 0 complaints.
Yeah.
So, what a lot of those family-friendly shows do, you want to be I can't just be free and be myself, because I might want to say something like, can't say that. But it's you can't go on the Tonight Show and be dirty. You can't go on Kimmel and be dirty.
Right.
You can't go on any of those shows and be dirty. So it forced me to evaluate my act and say, what bits can I do here where I know there might be kids. There might not be, but it doesn't matter. It says family friendly, all ages. They go in. Some people go in for that. They don't want anything dirty or racy or political or anything like that. And it kind of made me really look at my act closely and say, what can I do? What can I do if I have to be clean? I mean, if you get a gig, you get a private gig, and they love you at a club, and they go, hey man, we got this gig, love you to do it. I need 20 minutes, but it's got to be clean.
Right. Yeah.
If you accept that gig, you better be clean.
Right.
You took the gig with that parameter in place. So I take these gigs knowing I got to be clean, at least probably minimum on a lot of cruise ships. I'll do, depending on the ship. Sometimes you do 15, 16 shows a week. Sometimes you do 3. Depends on the ship. But on those ones where it's family friendly, I accepted that gig. So I better do it. I can't
No,
go on and go, fuck this. You know what I mean? I can't.
no, I think
There
it's
are times, though, when something will slip and you go, oh.
yeah, I could imagine, because sometimes you might get, caught up in a moment or something, or what you're saying, and then, something might slip up. But I think it's a great thing to have, kind of a clean set and your regular set, or whatever, or a more dirtier set.
Yeah.
For all those reasons that you just said, especially if for corporate gigs or for late night shows, like tonight shows and things like along those lines. And then obviously for what you're doing on the cruise lines.
So many people ask me, they go, hey, huge big shot, what is your pre-show ritual? Well, hit the gym for a little cardio, cap it all off. Nice double espresso. You're welcome.
I've never been. It's another thing. I've been to Vegas once. Never been on a cruise. I definitely want to go on a cruise.
Yeah.
But because they look amazing. And if I do go on one, it's going to be one with comedy on it.
Yeah, I think I only work for Royal, so I don't. But I know a lot of the lines have comedy too.
Yeah, very cool. And you must have been to like every tropical place. Like, did you do you take advantage of all the stops, or are you just a veteran now and you just stay on the ship?
Don, it really depends on what the port is. As far as the Caribbean goes, I've been probably to every port that the ships go to.
Right.
And it's sometimes it's nice. You just got to get off the ship. You just got to get off. You've been on for 3 straight days. You got to get off. And some ports, like anything else, are nicer than others. And there's a couple of Facebook pages where entertainers will say, hey, I'm in whatever port today. Anybody around for lunch? And usually you go, yeah, I'll meet you for lunch. And they're from another ship, whatever. You go on, you have lunch, and it's fun. Other times it's just like, I've been here so many times. Like, I just want to stay on the ship when everybody else is off and go to the gym, go to the pool. Nobody's around. It's good, But like right now, I've just done 4 weeks in Alaska.
It's a beautiful day in Skagway, Alaska. I'm going to head into town there, see what's going on, get myself a cup of coffee.
Wow.
And I go back this weekend. I get off the ship in Alaska.
Yeah,
I do.
That's pretty awesome, man, to see all these places and to travel and all that and be paid to do it and enjoy, have fun while you're doing it all. Yeah, man. And seeing like Alaska.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. But you have to pack differently. That's the thing. It's like when you go into the Caribbean or you go down to Long Beach, California, it's, shorts and T-shirts. Right. And then you're going to fly in Alaska. Even though it's the summer, it's still chilly.
Right.
I mean, during the day, you might be okay, if you're walking around. But man, when it starts to get into the evening and the ship takes off and you're at sea, it's just cold out there. So if you're going to be outside at all on the ship, you want to bundle up. So you got to pack differently.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, here's something you don't see on every cruise. We got some snow.
Now, have you been to, like, if we look at that breakdown, the Kokomo, the Beach Boys song, have you been to all those places?
Probably.
Well, that's great, man.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of those places. I mean, I've been to Europe. It's amazing,
Wow.
They have ships over in Europe now doing the Mediterranean cruises, and that's pretty cool.
Hey, everybody. I just finished my sound check inside the Royal Theater aboard the Independence of the Seas, and I'll be doing my show tonight in a few hours. So I got to get my quick pre-show nap, a cup of coffee, and I'll be all set.
That's pretty awesome, man. Like, I would love that. I would love that opportunity to be able to work a cruise line and to see the world and to enjoy, and work and be paid to do it. Is there like you mentioned, when you get off the ship, there's like, you meet up with other comics. Is there like a kind of subculture of comedians that do this? Like, is there a group of you guys that all kind of you see all the time and that kind of thing?
I probably know other entertainers at least as well as I know the comedians. Some of the ships, there's two comedians on the ship for the week. You do a
Right.
comedy club show, boom, there's two of you. But most of the time, it's one comedian, one singer, one variety act. So I really know singers and variety acts because that's who I'm spending my time with.
Right.
Most of the ships, I'm the comedian, and
Right.
they're the
Yeah.
juggler, they're the singer, they're the aerial act. They have all kinds of different acts. So I tend to know them more than I do the comedians. And of course, a lot of the comedians that are on the ships, I've known them for years anyway.
One of the many great things about working on the cruise ship is that I work with some fantastic people, some very talented people. My buddy Steve Rawlings just killed it inside the Royal Theater tonight. So, yeah, I'll let you know. Ciao.
Right. Yeah.
I've known Al Romas for 30 years.
Yeah. So it must be cool when you see like somebody like, or I think Cola does every once in a while. So maybe he shows up on the, and then if you see somebody like that, it's like, oh, a guy I've known for 30 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's one of those things that when you work the ships a lot, it's like we understand each other because we all know what we've been through.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Travel and cancellations and getting stuck somewhere and whatever. So we've all been through that. So you do develop a bit of a camaraderie in that regard.
Yeah, because you guys are all like seasoned travelers. It's kind of like, you remember that movie, George Clooney, when he traveled around to fire people. It's kind of like that, but you guys are on the cruise lines. Like, you just know how to travel properly, and you know all the faux pas and the right and wrong. And
exactly.
How long have you been doing that? The ships, the cruising, like years?
Probably about 7 years, 6, 7 years.
Wow, man.
And I was nervous, man, because I didn't know. When they called me, go, do you want to work the ships? I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So luckily, my first few weeks, I was on one of the comedy club ships. Go into comedians, you bang out a show, you do your show, no problems. And then like the fourth or fifth time I worked for them, I was like, where's the comedy club? I'm like, there's no comedy club on this ship. Like, what am I supposed to do? Where do I go? Like, oh, you got to do welcome aboard. You got to go. What? I didn't know any of that. Oh my God, I got 20 minutes clean. I'm looking at, but then you get used to it. You get used to it, and you accept the challenge.
Hey everyone, I had a great day the other day. I went to the National Shrine for St. Therese in Juneau, Alaska, and it was an amazing place. If you don't know about St. Therese, look her up. If you see a rose at St. Therese.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man, it's great.
When's the last time you've been here back to Long Island?
That was probably last summer, and I'm gonna be at the brokerage in August.
You're gonna be this August? Oh, yeah, man.
I think it's the middle of August. The dates are escaping me, and I can't look on my phone right now.
I'll put it up right now. Like when we edit this, you'll see the poster. The poster's going to be up right now.
Okay, cool. All right, cool.
This is fantastic, man. I'm definitely coming out.
In August. Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm making that. That's gonna be on my schedule. I'm making that happen, even if I'm got something else
Thank
going
you.
on. I would definitely want to come out and see you and support you and see you in person again, man. That's huge. So like, what's your favorite thing to do when you first come back to Long Island? Is it like the pizza, the bagels, or?
It's funny. Well, my family's still there, so, and my friends are there. So guys I grew up with are all still on Long Island. So it's definitely visiting and seeing everybody. That's the key thing. And that's what I want to do first and foremost. My mom's there, my sisters, my friends are there.
Yeah.
So I want to see everybody first.
Yeah.
You know, but then again, it's like if I don't get pizza and bagels on Long Island, what am I doing? It's like you gotta, you know what I mean? It's sacrilege.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when I would do a road gig on Long Island, I would go fill up the gas tank, go to the bagel place, couple bagels, coffee, and that's how I hit the road. Bagels and coffee.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's weird because other places I've lived in North Carolina for a little bit, lived in Atlanta, and they don't do the egg sandwich on a roll. Like, they don't do that. The baked egg and cheese, they don't do that. They don't have really good bagels. So every time I would come back, now I'm back on Long Island. I've been back for the last like 6 years or so. But every time I would visit, it was like if I didn't get pizza and a bagel and I went home, I would be like, oh man, I would feel like I slighted myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, man.
So
because it's in your blood, man. When you're a Long Island person, they they always say, you take
no doubt about it.
You take you out of the Long Island, but you can't take the Long Island out of you. You know.
Yeah, it's funny when I was married. If I was flying back to New York to work, my wife would say to me, "Don't become like that again." Like, what are you talking about? She says, "You get funny when you go home." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So I remember I was like, "What the hell is she talking about?" So I remember when the first time I did it, the plane landed. She goes, "Call me when you land. I want to know you landed." So turn the phone on. We'll pull up to the and I call her and she goes, "Hello." I'm like, "I'm here." She's like, "Stop that now." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Listen to you." I go, What's wrong with what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even. It just all comes flooding back. The hands are flying. I'm insulted at everything. And, she's like, oh my God. She goes, "Okay, just don't come home sounding like that." I'm like, "Sounding like what?" It's a whole big thing, I hung up the phone. I do remember going, "I'm here." She was like, "Okay." What
That's
happened to my
awesome,
husband?
man.
Yeah.
Dude, so that's great, man. I can't wait to see you come back and you'll get that I'm here call come back again.
Absolutely.
Now I know you said you had an audition today. Can you tell us what you're auditioning for? And
well, actually, I made a mistake. It's actually tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I got the date wrong. It's actually tomorrow. But they said you don't even talk about it. It's a major television show.
Wow.
In New York, actually. So, but I can't even mention it.
All right. So we
I
won't
won't say
mention
anything. Nothing. But who knows, man? Who knows? It's a major television show, very popular show.
Very cool. So it's a show that it's already out there. Yeah. Okay.
Already out there. Yeah.
We will. I'll be rooting for you, man.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah. So kick some butt. But Greg, I can't thank you enough for doing this. Like I said, man, I've always wanted to have you on since I've been doing this podcast, and I'm glad we finally made it happen. And like I said, it goes all the way back to McGuire's.
That's amazing.
And you were on my WUSB show too. You came in with Paul Bond once. I was doing like a show on WUSB back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate you doing this. Again, tell everybody where they could find you and follow you and all that kind of stuff.
The website is just gregvac.com, and that's got links to all the other social media stuff. And it's that simple, gregvac.com.
And if everybody's looking to go on a cruise, man, definitely go on the Royal Caribbean, Brilliance of the Seas. And you see Greg and, get to see his comedy, clean set, his dirty set, and get to, maybe hang out with him.
I'm going to be on the, in July, I have to put, I just got added. I'm going to be on the Liberty of the Seas out of Bayonne.
Oh, really?
In July. I think it's the 17th, maybe something like that, 18th. So if anybody's looking to cruise and you want to go to Bayonne and do the Liberty, I'll be there.
Hey, man, maybe I'll do that one too.
All right.
Bayonne's right there. Yeah,
it's right there, man. It's great. It's great. It's great.
That's awesome, man. And then I'm definitely going to see you in August. Everybody's got to go out and check him out. He's coming back home, going to be at Governor's at Brokerage. Check it out. Greg Vaccariello, thanks so much, man.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much for having me.
You're the best.
Thanks.